Hello everyone. Today we will explain a new lesson in Primary 4, second term. Let's get started. Unit 4, Theme 4, Change and Stability Shifting Surfaces. Concept 1, Breaking Down and Moving Rocks. In this concept, we will learn some of outcomes by the end of this concept. Your child will be able to Number 1. Explain the rules of water, wind, and heat in weathering, erosion, and deposition. Number 2. Provide evidence that mechanical and chemical weathering change Earth's surface over time. Provide evidence that mechanical and chemical weathering change Earth's surface over time. Okay, vocabulary. In this concept, we will learn some of vocabulary like air, chemical weathering, deposition, erosion, heat, mechanical weathering, sediments, soil, water, weathering. Lesson 1. In this lesson, we will learn and make some experiments in Activity 1, Activity 2, and Activity 3. In Activity 1, explain to your child how Earth's surface changes from time to time. Activity 2. Discuss with your child how erosion affects coasts. In Activity 2, discuss with your child how erosion affects coasts. Activity 3. Explain to your child how canine are formed. In Lesson 2, because today we will explain Lesson 1 and Lesson 2 in Concept 1 in Unit 4. So in Lesson 2, we should learn 3 activities, Activity 4, Activity 5, and Activity 6. In Activity 4, discuss with your child the three main processes through which the Earth's surface changes. Activity 5. Discuss with your child the difference between weather and weathering. Activity 6. Explain to your child the types of weathering. In Activity 1, Lesson 1, can you explain? Look at these two pictures. What do you observe in first one and what do you observe in picture number 2? In picture number 1, as you see, in picture 1, wind can break down rocks and can move the small particles of rocks from an area to another. What does that mean? In this picture, look clearly. What is this? This is rocks, and these rocks are broken down. Who can broken down? What is occur or what happened in these rocks? These rocks will be broken down by wind, and these rocks will be will change the shape of its shape and the color of these rocks. So we see in picture 1, wind can break down rocks and can move the small particle of rocks from an area to another. In second picture, as you see in picture 2, water can change the shape of rocks. So rocks here are changed by water. So the shape of these rocks will be changed by water. Activity 2, titled by Disappearing Sandcastle. Natural erosion. Natural erosion. Natural erosion happened by God. So if a child built a sandy castle on the beach or seashore. He may notice the disappearance of a part of it or all of it after few hours. So, the sandy castle will be broken down or will be disappear because it is not strong. So, when the sum of water will be disappear the sandy castle. Water, the second point, water and wind are some of the factors that can transport small rocks from one place to another, forming a process known as erosion. So, the erosion here, it is transportation of rocks from one place to another or from one area to another. Disappearance, point 3, the disappearance of the sandy coastal, erosion of the sandy coastal is due to the transportation of the sand particles from their place to another by the effect of water, and this is considered as an example of natural erosion. So, what is easy or fast in this appearance? Sandy coastal or another one of rocks? So, the sandy coastal here, because sandy coastal will be disappear by making erosion of the sand coastal due to the transportation of the sand particle from their place to another by the effect of water, and this is considered as an example of natural erosion. Look at the picture, concentrate well, and what do you observe on this picture? In this picture, can you describe this picture, my dear student? Yes, of course. Water can disappear some of castle and transport rocks from one place to another. Notes. Number 1. Sand is formed by breaking down of some types of rocks into smaller particles. Sand is formed by breaking down of some types of rocks. What does it mean? That mean that sand is formed by breaking down or crushing or crumple some types of rocks. Such rocks, when crumpled or grind by water into, will be changed from big particle to small particle. So, sand is formed by breaking down of some types of rocks into smaller particles. Number 2. Forces of water and wind are responsible for the disappearance of sandy coastal and erosion of coasts. So we have here two forces. Number 1, or firstly, water. Secondly, wind. So water and wind are two forces that are responsible for the disappearance of sandy coastal and the erosion of coasts. Activity 3. Sandy castle, rocks, and canine. What do you observe? We have here two different pictures. In picture 1, sandy castle, and in picture 2, castle rocks. What are the difference between sandy castle and castle rocks? Firstly, in sandy castle, this is fast changes, but castle rocks, slow changes. What's the difference between fast changes and slow changes? They are observed in sandy coastal. They are observed in sandy coastal. Number 2, it may completely disappear in a few minutes as a result of its hitting by sea waves. So, in sandy coastal, They are observed in sandcastle. This is the fastest change. So when I ask you a question about this point, give me example about fast change. You can say sandcastle. What happened in sandcastle? It may completely disappear in a few minutes as a result of its hitting by the sea waves. On the other hand, coastal rocks. It is the slow change example. They are observed in coastal rocks over time. There are there may be some little difference in its shape after many years if some parts break off. So, coastal rocks is example of slow changes because there may be some little difference in its shape after many years of some parts break off. In the previous pictures, we observe some similarities between sandy coastal and coastal rocks. In previous picture, in sandy coastal and coastal rocks, we observe some similarities between the sandy coastal and coastal rocks. What are similarities between them? Number one, both have steep needle-like parts. Both have steep needle-like parts. Number two, both have sloping side or inclined sides at the bottom. Both have sloping side. What's the meaning of sloping side? Inclined side at the bottom. Three, water and wind create their shapes, and their shapes created by wind and water. Now we have new topic. This is about canine. What are canine? How canine is formed, is be formed? Look at this picture and describe what is this and what do you observe in this picture. Canines. They are deep valleys curved by flowing water. This is the definition of canine. Look, my dear student, it is important point. Define canine. They are deep valleys curved by flowing water. And when I ask you, write the scientific term, they are the deep valleys curved by flowing water. This is canine. It is canine. Canine are formed due to the slow changes that happened to its rocks over many years. Canines are formed due to the slow changes that happened to its rocks over many years. So, how many years to form a canine? A canine. They want and they make changes at 100 or two more than 100 years. So it take long time. Canines are formed by the action of water. Canines are formed by the action of water. So the force of water make canine. Third point, a canine has needle-like parts and slopes at the side. Look, this point is the similarities with coastal rocks and sandy coasters. They had needle-like part and slope at the sides. Excellent, very good. Activity 4. What do you already know about breaking down and moving rocks? What do you already know about breaking down and moving rocks? Shaping the earth. In this activity, we are going to understand some processes through which the Earth's surface changes. These processes include weathering, erosion, and deposition. That can be shown in the following figure. Look at this figure. What do you observe? We have here 4 rectangles or 4 squares, and we have big rocks, and these rocks breaking down into small particles by forces These forces, three forces like wind, water, and temperature. In first rectangle, this area are shows the breaking down of large rocks into small particles or sediments. This process is known as weathering. So the weathering here is the breaking down. This is the process which breaking down large rocks into small particles by wind, water, and temperature. This is the definition of weathering. Number two, this small rocks which broken down by wind, water, and temperature. When some water or wind forces and transport this small particle from one place to another, what happened? The erosion will be happen. So in picture 2, in rectangle number 2, this area shows the movement of sediments from one place to another. This process is known as erosion. Third one or third rectangle, this area shows the dropping or lying of sediments in a new places. This process is known as deposition. So the deposition here, it is a process which the dropping or lying of sediments or small rocks in new place. This process is known as deposition. Deposition, the dropping or lying sediment. Erosion, movement of sediment. Weathering, breaking down of large rocks into sediment. What is the meaning of sediment here? It is small particles of rocks. So in this picture, this is the summarize of our lesson today. In this picture, collect three definitions or three main definitions: weathering, erosion, deposition. This is in order. Number one, first process is weathering. Number two, erosion. Number three, deposition. Define weathering. It is the process which breaking down large rocks into sediments. What's the meaning of sediment? Small rocks. Number two, what's the meaning of erosion or define erosion? It is the movement of sediments from one place to another. Number three, what's the meaning of deposition? It is the process which dropping or lying of sediment in new places. Look at this slide, my dear students. In this slide, there are the comparison between weather and weathering. What's the difference between weather and weathering? In weather, it is condition of atmosphere at a specific time and place. In weathering, it is the breaking down of rocks on Earth's surface into smaller or tiny pieces. In weather, there are many factors affecting weather such as temperature, wind, rains, and etc. But in weathering, there are many factors that cause weathering, such as temperature, wind, and water. In weather, at the third point, at the last point, it is the last point, the condition of weather can help us to deduce what to wear when we go outside. But in weathering can change the shape of Earth's surface over time. So it is the comparison and important point to compare between weather and weathering. Look at these three pictures in this new slide. You can see the effect of weathering in many observations around you, such as, firstly, this is breaking of statue. This statue will be broken by weathering and some of forces like water, wind, and temperature. In second picture, removing of paints of building. This is due to weathering. In third picture, this is pulling a wave to the sand of seashores. This is due to weathering again. So we have here three examples of the effect of weathering. Number one, breaking statue. Number two, removing of paints of buildings. Number three, pulling a wave to the sand of seashores. Pulling a wave to the sand of seashores. How can ask you in this slide, or what are questions that we can answer of this question? Sometimes, my dear student, he give you some picture and ask you, what do you observe in this picture? One or two or three. You can answer by breaking down of statue, removing of paint building, pulling a wave to the sand of seashores. And sometimes he asks you, give reason, breaking of statue or removing of paint of building. The answering here, due to weathering, due to weathering. In another way, what happens if weathering will occur? What are the effect of weathering? You can write, number one, breaking of statue. Number two, removing of paint of building. Number three, pulling a wave to the sand of seashores. Activity 6. Types of weathering. What are types of weathering here? We have here more than one. Before saying what are types of weathering, we should know what are the mechanical weathering. This is the first type of weathering. We have here two types or two main types we will study in this concept. Number one, mechanical weathering, and the second type, chemical weathering. In mechanical weathering, it is the breaking down of rocks due to the effect of physical factors like water, wind, plant roots, and temperature. We have here four physical factors. Again, wind, water, plant roots, and temperature. One more time, wind, water, plant roots, and temperature. What is the definition of mechanical weathering here? It is the breaking down of rocks due to the effect of physical factors, wind, water, plant roots, and temperature. Look at this three picture. Wind, water, plant roots, and temperature. Temperature. In temperature, we have a small story. Look at the first picture, my dear. This is rocks, big rocks. And these big rocks have some water, drops from rain. This water, if the weather is cold, will change it into ice. And when the weather is very hot or extreme hot, what happens? The ice will be melt and turns into water, liquid water. So this big stone will be broken down into small particles. Look again, in temperature. Firstly, water flow into the tiny cracks of rocks. When the temperature gets very cold, water freezes, forming ice that expands and makes the cracks of rocks become wider. Again, when the temperature gets very cold, water freezes, forming ice that expands and makes the cracks of rocks become wider. When the temperature increases, the ice melts, so water fills newly formed wide cracks again. The cycle of freezing of water and melting of ice continues until rocks are broken down. Again, when temperature increases, the ice melts, so water fills newly formed wide cracks again. So the cycle of freezing of water and melting of ice continues until rocks are broken down. The second type of weathering here is chemical weathering. This is the second type, or the another type of weathering here is chemical weathering. What what is the chemical weathering here? It is the change of the structure of rocks due to chemical reaction. It is the change. It is the change of the structure of rocks due to chemical reaction. So chemical weathering happens due to the chemical reactions of rocks with some other materials such as oxygen, acid rain, water, and acid produced by some living organism. We have here some of new information, so concentrate well, my dear student. Firstly, define chemical weathering. It is the change of the structure of rocks. What's the meaning of the structure of rocks and how can change this structure? The structure of rocks. Rocks sometimes formed by some sands or some of small particles with minerals. So how can change this? Due to chemical reaction. Chemical reaction made by dissolving water or wind or some broken of some changes by temperature. Sometimes chemical reaction occur by or due to acid rain. So it is the change of the structure of rocks due to chemical reaction. This is the definition of chemical weathering. I ask you another question. What happens if the chemical weathering happens due to oxygen or due to acid rain or due to water or due to acid produced by some living organism? Chemical weathering happens due to the chemical reaction by these four main factors. And the rocks, the chemical reaction will change the natural of rocks. Sometimes it change color, sometimes it change the shape and formation of rocks. So there are four main factors that make chemical weathering here or chemical reaction. Firstly, oxygen. Secondly, water. Thirdly, acid rain. And fourth, acid produced by some living organisms. First case, red-colored rust in rocks. What is the color in this picture? It is red color. The role of oxygen. The role of oxygen in chemical weathering. Oxygen of air react with iron of some rocks, forming red-colored rust. This reaction can weaken rocks and break them down easily. So this red colored rust in rocks due to the reaction between oxygen of air react with iron. This iron of some rocks forming red colored rust. And this reaction can weaken rocks and break them down easily. Second slide. Limestone cave. Limestone cave. In this picture, concentrate well. It is limestone cave. The role of water in chemical weathering. When water dissolves mineral in rocks, what happens? That dissolved mineral combine again, forming new shapes as in the limestone cave. So, this slide titled by the role of water in chemical weathering. So, the force here, water is the main force to make change and to make the chemical reaction. when water dissolves mineral in a rock. The dissolved minerals combine again, forming new shapes, as in limestone caves. Another slide, acid rains. The role of acid rain in chemical weathering. So the factor here, or in this slide, the force here, acid rain. What happens if acid rain will occur? It make chemical weathering. How make? What's the change by acid rain here? When the acid rain fall on rocks, it can dissolve mineral found in these rocks, causing the breakdown of rocks. Again, the acid rain here, when the acid rain fall, what happened? It can dissolve minerals found in these rocks, causing the breakdown of rocks. Another slide. Another slide about lichens on rocks. What is the lichens of rocks? This living organisms in chemical weathering. The role of living organisms in chemical weathering. Some tiny organism or some small organism called lichens produce acids on rocks that dissolve minerals found in these rocks and break them down. So here it is small organism or some tiny organism called lichens produce acids on rocks that dissolve minerals found in these rocks and break them down. Now, my dear student, I want to ask you a question. Chemical weathering happens by four factors. Number one, oxygen. Number two, water. Number three, acid rain. Number four, acid from living organisms. Now it is time to check your understanding. Write the scientific term of the following. Write the scientific term of each of the following. Number one, a process in which rocks are broken down into smaller particles. It is weathering. Number two, a process in which small broken rocks move from a place to another by the help of wind or water. Erosion. Number three, a process in which the sediments are dropped in a new location by the action of wind, water, and gravity deposition. Look at this new slide. Write the scientific term of each of the following. Number four, a part of plant grows inside cracks of rocks, causing their weathering. This plant root. Number five, the condition of atmosphere at a specific time and place. Weather, very good. Number six, it is a type of weathering through which acids of lichens dissolve minerals of rocks. Lichens on rocks, very good saying. Number seven, it is a type of caves that is formed when dissolved minerals of rocks combine again in new shape. Limestone cave, excellent, very good. Number eight, it is a process through which water forming ice in cracks of rocks. Mechanical weathering. Number nine, a gas in air combined with iron of some rocks and causes its weakness. Oxygen. Excellent. Give a reason for the following. Changes while it changes formation of canines is considered as an example of slow changes because canines are formed slowly by erosion over many years. So, when I ask you question, give reason, change. While changes formation of canine is considered as an example of slow change due to canine are formed slowly by erosion over many years. Now, my dear student, we have finished our session today. Thank you for me, Dr. دعاء أحمد. I'm a science teacher. مع أطيب تمنياتنا لكم بالنجاح والتوفيق منصة البث المباشر، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.